So Weavile, I actually really like Weavile with his 120 attack and 125 speed. I think he can survive a special hit that's not super powerful, but he's not going to survive anything crazy. He's going to get one shot by just about everything. And it doesn't help with his weaknesses. Like, Ice is a terrible defensive typing. Like, it is straight awful. It's weak to fighting, rock, steel, and fire. To where it's like, okay, cool. And it's just a bad typing. And it doesn't help. Like, anything with Ice is bad. But Weavile has a 4-7 weakness to rock. Or fighting. So anything that hits him super effective is going to one-shot him pretty much at this point. He's immune to Psychic, so you can switch him in on Psychic and be safe. Or especially like a Specs or a Scarf Psychic type move, and you're fine. But he also resists Ghost, Ice, and Dark, which is decent. It's not great, but everything else is neutral. But like the weakness to Fire, Fairy, Steel, and like every one of these, all of his weaknesses except maybe Bug, and I think Bug is like, all of his weaknesses except for Bug are common, and Bug is like more common now because of X Scissor and Leech Life. So he's almost every Pokemon's gonna have a one shot. At least he's not weak to ground, which is good, but like almost every Pokemon's gonna have one of those moves. But pretty cool. This is probably like the regular way to run him, with just a Sash and then 4 offensive moves. Knockoff and Icicle Crash for the stab. Icicle Crash has a chance to miss, which sucks, but also has a 30% chance to flinch, which kind of cancels each other out. But also Knockoff does a ton of damage for first move, and it takes away their item, and then you survive the hit. Knockoff's really good because Weavile should at least knock out one with a Sash and everything, and then they bring in something else and you knock it off. Especially if he outspeeds with his 125 speed, he just knocks off, so they lose their item and then they KO him. But it's worth it because you take away their item and do a good amount of damage. Poison Jab for fairies mostly, and Psycho Cut for fighting, because for fighting. You could also run Fake Out if you don't want to run either Fake Out instead of Poison Jab or Psycho Cut. Fake Out, just good damage, and it breaks sashes and stuff. And also you could run Throat Chop instead of Knockoff. And Throat Chop's good. Like, Throat Chop's good if you're against something like, I think he outspeeds Noivern barely, but Throat Chop's good if you know they're gonna use a sound based move to just pretty much get rid of their turn and free damage. But that's one way to use them. You could also do like a setup Weavile. I think speed is the best way to go, because if you get outsped, you'll just get destroyed. And Weavile doesn't one shot even with the max attack unless they're really frail. But if they're really frail, they're probably outspeed. But you could also Swords Dance with the speedy nature and the Sash. Also, his abilities are Pressure and Pickpocket. They're not good abilities. I wish he had a different ability, like something. Like, these are not good. Pickpocket sucks just because he has to get hit, and like they hit you, and then they break this Sash. But it's like Pickpocket activates before the Sash is broken, so you don't get their item, which sucks. So it's like, oh, you technically have a Sash when they hit you, so you can't take their item, which sucks. Pressure is not gonna matter most of the time, but oh well. One of the other ways to run them though is just Swords Dance and then 3 offensive moves. But yeah, you have to run speed. I do Knockoff and Icicle Crash, I think, for the stab are pretty much guaranteed. And then Poison Jab or Psycho Cut. I think Psycho Cut's better just for fighting, just to deal with fighting types. But like, yeah, I think Psycho Cut's better. Cause like a Steel and Dark kind of hurts this. But yeah, I would run Psycho Cut for fighting. He pretty much, Weavile's, the good thing about Ice is a good offensive typing, because it hits rock super effective. You hit Steel neutral. That's why I don't really want to run Poison Jab. Poison Jab is more for the fairies, and then fighting's a bigger weakness though. But just swords are set up and just offensive moves. And then there's the Dynamax one. Giga Impact can honestly be replaced, but like the problem with Weavile's not a good Dynamax, only because he doesn't have any. One, he's frail, and he'll still take a ton of damage, even from a non-Dynamax move. But 2, he doesn't have many high damage moves. Like, all of his high damage moves are special, and he has 45 special. He has 45 special attacks, so it doesn't matter. So it's like, okay, cool. There's not much he can do as a Dynamax to make it worth it. Foul Play changes when it Dynamaxes, so that's good, but Dig maybe instead of Giga Impact, maybe like Poison Jab. Probably Dig, honestly. The last one said the Giga Impact. But it's like Iron Tail. He's just not good as a Dynamax. But that's if you want to run Dynamax, I would run something like this. This move could be either Psychic. I would say Psycho Cut's good too, just so you can get the Psychic Terrain out. But Psychic, you could do, what was the other one? Poison Jab, maybe Shadow Claw, like just what you want in that last spot. But I think these three are the main ones. Iron Tail for the Steel, and since accuracy doesn't matter, Dynamax, it's worth it. Foul Play it's just based off the power, so it ignores the effect. And also, I don't think Foul Play is a good decision. Like, it's not a good move on Weavile, just because Weavile's attack is so high. There's not many things that you're gonna hit that have a higher attack stat than you with Foul Play. So I wouldn't recommend it on him. And the reason why I don't like Iron Tail on a normal Weavile is just the accuracy. If you miss, you're getting one shot pretty much. But some of the other things he learns are fake. You could run a Band on Weavile. I don't like the Band. I would run Band and not Sash. I think there's no point in running Scarf because he's so fast. But you could also run Agility too instead of for this one. You could also run Agility instead of Swords Dance. But at that point, I don't know if it's worth it at that point. But Fake Out's really good. Brick Break for fighting coverage if you want it. Double Edge is just a ton of normal damage, but just a hard hitting normal move. But I'd rather have the coverage. And I already said why Foul Play is great on Weavile. He also learned Shadow Claw. Ghost and Dark are so similar in terms of like what they're super effective against. Like, I think they hit pretty much the same thing super effective, if not literally the same thing, except for Ghost has the like normal thing where it doesn't hit normal, and Dark is resisted by fighting. That's like pretty much the only difference between the typings. Throat Chop if you want to do sound. Agility, this is another move. Also Aerial, you could run Aerial Ace if you Dynamax him for the speed. If you're using it as like a KO shot, it could work. I wouldn't really do it because it's not going to do a lot of damage. X-Scissor is really good just for the bug coverage. X-Scissor is good. X-Scissor is a really good move just as a throw-in move if you need the bug coverage. But Hone Claws, I'd rather get the Swords Dance, honestly. Hone Claws makes it so Icicle Crash doesn't miss, and Iron Tail has a higher chance of landing, but I wouldn't really run it. You can also run Ice Punch instead of Icicle Crash if you want the 100% accuracy but less damage. Icicle Shard or Ice Shard if you just want the speed or the priority as one of your moves, but you give up coverage at that point. I don't know if it's worth it. You could also do it as Ice Shard as if they have a Sash and they outspeed, just in case, like a Dragapult or something if you're both sashed. Taunt's really good because Weavile so fast that if they're set up, if they're playing, like if they're trying to survive a hit with a Sash and like set up and then sweep, like you can taunt and it'll shut it down. But I think that's pretty much it that he learns. You could I don't think Dynamic Punch is good for the thing. It sucks with Weavile just because Weavile, the thing that sucks about Weavile is he learns so many good special moves, but he has 45 special attacks, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, doesn't matter. He also has Swagger. Swagger's pretty good. I mean, Swagger's decent if you want to take that risk. Because if they miss, or if they hit you, they're going to do a ton. But if they hit themselves with Swagger, they're going to do a lot back. But the main issue with Weavile is just he learns so many good special moves. Like, but he can't use them. Like Blizzard, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam. Like, look at the Shadow Ball. Never mind, he doesn't learn many special moves, but he learns some really good ones. Like, if he had a good special, Surf is really good. Like, he learns a lot of good special moves. And also, some of his strongest moves are special, but that's Weavile. I like Weavile, though, honestly.